There is power in your mouth, not just to describe what is, but to declare what will be. Every time you say I am, you are sending a message, not just to the world but to your own spirit, a message that either lifts you or limits you, that either builds your future or binds you to your past. But here's the truth: you are not what the world called you. You are not what your failures whispered. You are what God designed, and it starts with your agreement. Every morning you open your eyes, you have a choice to echo defeat or to affirm destiny. I am is more than positive thinking. It's prophetic declaration. It's calling things that are not as though they were. It's deciding that even if you don't feel strong, you will still say, I am strong. Even if you don't see the way, you will still say, I am guided. Even when the noise of doubt gets loud, you will raise your voice louder and say, I am chosen, I am able, I am enough. So, if you're ready to shift your day, your mind, and your future, start with what you say. Because what you declare daily, you will begin to believe, and what you believe, you will become. Let's speak it. Let's own it. Let's live it. What you believe about yourself becomes the foundation of every decision you make. Your identity is the filter through which you interpret life, react to situations, and respond to challenges. An identity doesn't just happen, it's built over time through what you hear, what you repeat, and most powerfully, what you say. When you wake up in the morning and declare, I am strong, even if your circumstances don't look strong, your spirit hears it. Your soul begins to adjust to it. You don't need to have it all together to speak like you do. You just need to believe that what you speak can shape what you see. The world will always try to put labels on you: failure, average, not enough. But the I am affirmations are your chance to rip those labels off and replace them with truth. Truth that says, I am chosen, I am more than a conqueror, I am the head and not the tail. And it's not arrogance, it's alignment. You're aligning your words with what God has already spoken over you. The more you say it, the more you become it, because identity isn't built on what's been done to you. It's built on what you decide to agree with. Words aren't just sounds, they are seeds. Every time you speak, you plant something in your heart. And the most powerful words you'll ever hear are the ones you speak over yourself. That's why the phrase I am carries so much weight. It's not just a self-help tool, it's a spiritual weapon. When you say, I am blessed, you're not ignoring your problems, you're declaring your position. You're saying, I might be in a fight, but I'm not defeated. I might be under pressure, but I'm not crushed. That's the power of words. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can always control what comes out of your mouth. And when your mouth lines up with your mission, your circumstances start to move. The enemy wants you to say, I am broken, I am alone, I am stuck. But the moment you flip that script and say, I am healing, I am loved, I am moving forward, something begins to shift, not just outside of you, but inside of you, because words set the atmosphere for what comes next. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and you have the ability to speak life even when everything looks dead. We live in a world that expects instant success. One click, one post, one step, and we want everything to change. But real transformation doesn't happen in a moment. It happens in repetition. Daily, intentional, repeated truth spoken until it sinks deeper than the lie that's been living in your mind. You don't build a new identity with one powerful quote. You build it by showing up every day and reminding yourself, I am not who I used to be. I am who I'm becoming. And the thing about affirmations is they work best when they feel least true. When you feel weak, saying I am strong isn't fake, it's faith. When you feel afraid, saying I am courageous isn't denial, it's discipline. Repetition breaks resistance. It tells your brain, your emotions, your habits, this is the direction we're going. And even when your feelings haven't caught up yet, your faith starts leading the way. So don't just listen once. Don't just say it when you feel like it. Say it until it feels natural. Say it until it feels normal. Say it until it starts to sound like the truth, and everything else starts to sound like a lie. The battle is won in the dailiness, and the affirmations are your weapons, one declaration at a time. Every I am you declare is more than motivation, it's alignment. You are syncing your words with your purpose. You are calling your mind, your actions, and your life into agreement with the reason you were created. And when you align with purpose, confusion loses power, doubt loses strength, fear loses its grip. Because you're no longer living by how things feel, you're living by who you are, not who your friends say you are, not who your past says you are, but who God says you are, and that changes everything. It changes how you carry yourself. It changes how you walk into rooms. It changes how you handle setbacks, because when you know who you are, what happens to you doesn't shake what's inside of you. And the truth is, the more you speak who you are, the more you start to walk in it. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because your words started pulling your faith into action. You weren't just speaking positive thoughts. You were activating a deeper truth. You were reminding yourself of your calling. You were telling your destiny, I'm ready now. Let's go. You don't have to feel powerful to speak powerfully. You don't have to be perfect to declare greatness. The I am affirmations are not about pretending you have it all together. They're about prophesying who you're becoming. You're not declaring the version of you that's already arrived. You're speaking to the future you that's already in motion. And every time you say, I am bold, you're calling courage out of hiding. Every time you say, I am focused, you're silencing the chaos. Every time you say, I am worthy, you're tearing down every lie that ever told you otherwise. This isn't magic, this is faith. And faith speaks even when the facts don't match. Faith says, I am rising, even if I'm still in the valley. Faith says, I am favored, even if I haven't seen the outcome yet. Faith says, I am enough, because God doesn't make mistakes. And when you speak like that, day after day, something shifts in your spirit. Something awakens. Something begins to align with heaven's plan for your life. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop hesitating and start moving. You stop doubting and start declaring. Let me know if you'd like the full daily affirmations or a continuation of the full speech. Your life will always move in the direction of the words you believe about yourself. Before you chase success, before you pursue greatness, before you reach for anything on the outside, you have to settle something deep on the inside. Who am I? Because identity isn't just a nice concept, it's the root of everything. It determines how you show up. It frames how you think. It filters what you believe you deserve. And here's what most people don't understand. Identity doesn't come from the outside in. It doesn't come from your accomplishments. It doesn't come from how many likes you get, how much money you make, or how many people applaud you. Identity comes from the inside out. It starts with a decision, a declaration about who you are. And that declaration starts with two words, I am, the most powerful phrase in the universe when it comes out of your mouth. Not I hope to be, not I might become, not someday I'll get there. No, I am. Right now, present tense, before the breakthrough, before the spotlight, before the blessing shows up. You start by speaking it as if it's already true. And that's not fake, that's faith. That's what it means to walk by faith and not by sight. A network error occurred. Please check your connection and try again. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help center at help.openai.com. There's something about the words you speak that go deeper than just sound. They don't disappear when you say them. They stick. They settle. They build or they break. They either push you forward or hold you back. And the truth is, most of us have underestimated just how powerful our words really are. We say things in passing, we joke about our pain, we downplay our worth, and we don't even realize that every sentence is a seed. You can't always see what's happening, but those words are planting something in the soil of your soul. And eventually, you start living in the harvest of your own speech. There's a reason Scripture says life and death are in the power of the tongue. That's not just poetic language. That's spiritual reality. Your mouth is not just a microphone for what's going on around you. It's a megaphone for what's going on inside you. What you say is shaping what you believe. What you believe is shaping how you live. And the craziest part is that we're walking around, frustrated with our lives, discouraged with our results, confused about our direction. And sometimes the real problem is our vocabulary. It's not just what's happening to you, it's what's coming out of you. What are you saying about yourself every day, even when no one's listening? It matters. It matters more than you think, because words don't just describe your reality. They start to define it. When you say, "I'm always tired," "I'm just not smart enough," "Nothing ever works out for me," "I always mess things up," you may not even mean it fully, but your soul doesn't know the difference. Your subconscious doesn't stop to ask, "Was that sarcasm?" It just hears the message, and over time, your life begins to bend in the direction of your declarations. Your habits follow your thoughts, and your thoughts follow your words. That's why what you say matters so much, especially what you say about yourself. And here's the thing. You don't have to feel strong to speak strength. You don't have to feel confident to speak boldness. That's where the power of I am, affirmations, changes the game. Because you're not speaking what feels true. You're speaking what is true by faith. You're not just reporting your mood. You're realigning your mind. You're not just describing your day. You're directing your destiny. That's the shift. You move from reacting to things to reshaping things. You move from saying what you see to saying what you believe. And if you'll be bold enough to speak it, even when it doesn't look like it, even when you don't feel it, you'll start to see how powerful your words really are. The enemy wants your voice because he knows that if he can steal your declaration, he can delay your destiny. He wants you to walk around saying things like, "I'm not enough," "I can't do this," "I'll never be free." Because if you say it long enough, you'll start to believe it. And once you believe it, you'll live like it. You'll shrink back when you should be stepping up. You'll quit early when you were almost there. You'll talk yourself out of blessings because your voice doesn't match your vision. That's why the battle isn't just out there, it's in your mouth. The fight for your future is fought with your words. But here's the good news, you can change your language. You can train your tongue to speak life instead of death, truth instead of lies, faith instead of fear. You can wake up in the morning and say, "I am capable, I am focused, I am growing, I am prepared for whatever today brings." And that simple act, just those few sentences, can completely change how you carry yourself. Because now you're not walking into the day hoping to survive. You're walking in knowing who you are. You're not letting life speak over you. You're speaking over life. Some people think affirmations are just hype or emotional fluff. But the truth is, they're an act of war. They're a spiritual strategy. You don't just say affirmations to feel better. You say them to fight better, to fight back against doubt, to fight against insecurity, to fight against every voice that told you you're not enough. You say "I am," not because you always feel it, but because God already spoke it, and you're just coming into agreement with His Word. You're not making up something new, you're remembering something eternal. You're reminding yourself of who you really are beneath the pain, beneath the pressure, beneath the past. Because your words are prophetic, you may not realize it, but you are constantly prophesying your future with your mouth. Every "I am" you declare is either pulling you closer to your calling or pushing you further from it. That's why it's not harmless to speak defeat, even as a joke. It's not harmless to say, "I'm just not that person," or "that kind of life isn't for me," or "I'll never get through this." Because even if no one else hears it, you do, and your faith shrinks a little every time you agree with a lie. But the opposite is true too. Every time you say, "I am strong," something inside you grows. Every time you say, "I am chosen," something in you stands taller. Every time you say, "I am victorious," your spirit starts to believe it again. This is why you can't just listen to the wrong voices and expect to live in the right identity. You've got to turn down the noise of the world and turn up the truth in your own mouth. Speak it until it gets louder than the doubt. Declare it until your heart starts to align with it. Say it until it feels more natural than the fear. Because the truth is, your words are not just about you. They're shaping you. Every I am is carving out your future. Every declaration is designing your destiny. And you have the authority to choose what kind of life you build with the words you speak. You don't need a perfect past to speak a powerful future. You don't need a flawless record to declare favor over your life. You just need the courage to open your mouth and say what God says about you, even when your feelings say the opposite. Even when your situation hasn't caught up yet. Even when your emotions haven't agreed yet, because words lead, and feelings follow. If you can speak life long enough, eventually you'll start to live it. It won't just be words you say. It'll be a truth you embody, a power you carry, a confidence you walk in. And it all starts with what comes out of your mouth. Let me know when you're ready for the next keynote to be expanded, or if you'd like this turned into a voiceover script for your YouTube content. If you're looking for breakthrough, don't just look at the moment it happened. Look at the moments no one saw. The late nights, the early mornings, the times when you wanted to quit but didn't. The prayers when you didn't feel like praying. The small decisions when no one was watching. That's where the real power is. Because we live in a culture obsessed with instant. We want transformation, but we want it on demand. We want results, but we don't want repetition. We love the finish line, but we don't want to run the laps. But can I tell you something? What separates the ones who experience real change from the ones who just wish for it is consistency, not intensity for one day, but discipline for many. Not a single moment of hype, but a steady rhythm of showing up, again and again, even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when you don't see the results yet. Breakthrough doesn't happen all at once. It builds slowly, quietly, behind the scenes, like pressure in a pipe, like a seed in the soil, like a sunrise before it breaks the horizon. You can't always see it coming, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. And the question is, are you still showing up when it feels like nothing is happening? Because most people give up right before things start to shift. They stop declaring, I am, right before those words would have changed their atmosphere. They stop affirming their worth because it didn't seem to be working. But it was working. They just couldn't feel it yet. That's the hard part. When you're putting in the work, but the mirror doesn't reflect it. When you're speaking life, but your life still feels like chaos. When you're doing the right thing, but the reward hasn't shown up. That's when consistency becomes your weapon. That's when faith is proved. Not in the results, but in your resolve. That's when your I am becomes more than words. It becomes your walk. Because consistency is what turns belief into reality. Not what you do once in a while, but what you choose to do daily. And not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Some people think breakthrough is about magic. It's not. It's about rhythm. It's about doing the right thing long enough for the results to catch up. If you plant a seed and dig it up every day to see if it's growing, you'll kill the thing that was about to bloom. Some things need time. Some things grow underground. Some victories happen in silence before they ever shout in public. But if you stop too soon, you'll never see it. And that's the trick of inconsistency. It convinces you to stop before you see the fruit. To back away because you haven't felt the change yet. But if you only speak affirmations on your best days, you're not forming a foundation. You're riding an emotion. Real change doesn't ride emotions. Real change stands firm on convictions. It's what you say every morning that matters. It's what you speak over your life when nobody else is speaking over you. It's the way you declare, I am strong, even when your strength is running low. It's the way you say, I am focused, when your mind feels scattered. It's not about saying it perfectly, it's about saying it faithfully. Because what you repeat eventually rewires your reality. Your brain is listening. Your heart is listening. And when you feed yourself truth over and over again, you start to crave it. You start to live it. You start to move in sync with the future you've been believing for. There's nothing glamorous about consistency, but there's something powerful about it. You might not feel impressive, but you're becoming unstoppable. You might not look flashy, but you're becoming unshakable. Because every single time you choose to keep going, you're proving that your faith is stronger than your feeling. And if you keep planting those seeds, if you keep watering them with your words, your choices, your declarations, there will come a moment when the ground gives way, and the roots break through, and the growth is no longer hidden. But the only ones who get to that moment are the ones who didn't walk away from the process. We love to celebrate the moment the wall falls down, like at Jericho. But we forget they walked around it 6 days before anything happened. And they didn't walk around it quietly either. They walked around it believing, declaring, trusting, obeying, consistently doing the same thing even though nothing seemed to change. And on the 7th day it happened. But it wasn't just the shout that made the wall fall. It was the consistency that led to the shout. It was the obedience in the mundane that brought the miracle in the moment. And that's how it works in your life too. Don't underestimate the power of doing the right thing again and again, even when it feels small. Because one day, that small habit becomes a stronghold. One day, that small declaration becomes a mindset. One day, that small choice becomes a chain breaker. It might not look like a breakthrough yet, but the pattern is paving the way. That's why your affirmations matter. Not once a week, not when you're in the mood, but every single day. Make it your rhythm, make it your anchor, make it your weapon, because your future is not built in one big leap, it's built in 1,000 faithful steps. And maybe today doesn't feel significant. Maybe it feels like just another day. But can I tell you something? This is the day that builds the next one. This is the day that shapes your tomorrow. This is the day that keeps the momentum alive. And all you have to do is keep going. Keep speaking. Keep showing up. You're not just repeating words. You're reinforcing identity. You're not just getting through the day. You're building something unshakable. You're writing a testimony with your consistency. And when the moment of breakthrough comes, and it will come, it won't be a surprise. It'll be the result of everything you faithfully did when nobody else saw. Let me know if you'd like the 4th keynote expanded next, or if you want me to help turn this into an audio script or a YouTube video segment. Challenges come to all of us. There's no life that escapes them. No one gets a free pass. It's not a matter of if, but when. And here's the thing, the way you meet those challenges is everything. It changes the story, it changes the outcome, and it changes who you become. You see, challenges aren't just obstacles standing in the way of your success. They are opportunities in disguise, opportunities to stretch your faith, sharpen your character, and grow into the person you're meant to be. The difference between those who break through and those who break down isn't the absence of trouble. It's a mindset that says, this is not the end. This is the making of me. Think about it. When life hits hard, your mind can go one of two ways. It can fall into despair, doubt, and defeat. Or it can rise into faith, focus, and fight. And that shift doesn't happen by accident. It starts with the words you tell yourself in the midst of the storm. When the pressure's on and the odds look stacked, what do you say? Do you say, I can't handle this? Or do you say, I am stronger than this moment? That's where the power of I am affirmations come in. They're not just feel-good statements. They are declarations of belief that reposition your mind, realign your spirit, and reset your course. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. And response is everything. It's the difference between a moment that breaks you and a moment that makes you. The mind is like a battlefield, and the thoughts you feed it are your weapons. Negative thoughts are like enemy fire. They want to weaken you, shake your confidence, and derail your destiny. But positive, faith-filled affirmations are like armor. They protect you, remind you of your worth, and keep you marching forward even when the path looks impossible. Challenges test your mindset. They expose what you really believe about yourself and about God. They ask the question, who will you trust when your feelings lie? Because it's easy to believe you're strong when everything's going your way. The real test is when the storm comes, the bills pile up, the relationships get strained, and your dreams seem out of reach. That's when you have to choose what story you're going to tell yourself. Will it be the story of defeat or the story of overcoming? Will it be the story of I can't or I am learning? Will it be the story of fear or faith? When you start speaking I am affirmations in the face of adversity, you're not ignoring reality. You're facing it with a new lens. You're choosing to see obstacles not as dead ends, but as detours. Not as failures, but as feedback. Not as reasons to quit, but as reasons to press harder. And that mindset transforms challenges from stumbling blocks into stepping stones. It's a shift that rewires your brain to look for solutions instead of problems, to see potential where others see pain, and to keep moving forward when the world wants to stop you. This mindset also helps you build resilience, the kind of resilience that refuses to be defeated, no matter what life throws at you. Resilience is not born out of comfort. It's forged in the fires of difficulty. Every time you say, I am capable, I am strong, I am not defined by this struggle, you are training your mind to bounce back faster, recover stronger, and keep growing. It's like building muscle. The more you challenge it, the more it strengthens. And your mind works the same way. The more you feed it truth, the more it rejects lies. The more you focus on your identity, the less you get trapped in your circumstance. Let's be honest. Sometimes challenges feel overwhelming. They can feel like waves crashing over you, pulling you under. But what if you decided today to rise above the wave instead of letting it drown you? What if you decided to say, I am not my failures, I am not my fears, I am more than my setbacks? That decision doesn't erase the pain, but it shifts your power. It's the difference between a victim mentality and a victor mentality, between living in the past and stepping into your future, between holding on to hurt and letting go to grow. The truth is, your mindset controls your reality more than your reality controls your mindset. You may not always have control over your circumstances, but you do have control over your mind. And when your mind changes, everything changes. Your outlook brightens, your energy returns, your motivation reignites, and your life begins to reflect the truth of who you really are beneath the challenges. Because you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're not just existing, you're becoming, and that's why the words you speak are so important. Every time you say, I am victorious, I am a conqueror, I am blessed beyond measure, you're not just affirming a wish, you're affirming a reality. You're speaking life into your situation. You're declaring the truth that outlasts the storm. You're reminding yourself that your worth isn't based on what's happening to you, but on who you are at your core. And that is unshakable. So when the next challenge comes, and it will remember this, your mindset is your secret weapon. Your I am affirmations are the fuel for your fight. They give you courage to face the fear, hope to overcome the doubt, and strength to keep moving forward when everything inside says stop. You're not alone in this battle. You have a voice inside that can lead you out of the darkness. And that voice is yours to choose. You can speak defeat, or you can speak victory. You can listen to fear, or you can declare faith. And if you'll make that choice every day, even when it's hard, even when it's painful, even when you don't feel like it, your mindset will transform your challenges. You will become the person who not only endures, but excels. The person who doesn't just survive storms, but learns to dance in the rain. The person who doesn't just wish for breakthrough, but steps into it because their mind was ready long before the breakthrough arrived. Because you are more than your struggles. You are stronger than your storms. You are a champion, shaped and sharpened by every battle you face. If you want, I can help expand the final keynote next or assist with turning these speeches into engaging YouTube content. Persistence is one of those words that sounds simple until you really live it. It's easy to say, just keep going. But when you're in the thick of the struggle, when doors close, when plans fall apart, when the weight on your shoulders feels unbearable, persistence isn't just willpower, it's faith in action. It's that deep, burning conviction that says, I am not done yet, I am still here, I am still moving. Persistence is what separates those who dream from those who do, those who wish from those who win. But here's the secret. Persistence without faith quickly becomes exhaustion, but faith fuels persistence. Faith is what keeps you going when the road is long, the nights are dark, and the outcome looks uncertain. You've got to understand, faith isn't a magic fix or a quick pass out of your trouble. Faith is the confidence in what you hope for and the assurance of things not seen. It's believing in the unseen future while standing in the present struggle. Faith doesn't always make the path easier, but it gives you a reason to walk it. When the I am affirmations you speak become your anchor, faith is the wind beneath your wings. It's what pushes you to rise after every fall, to get back up when you're tired, and to speak life into your circumstances when the world is shouting doubt at you. You see, persistence isn't about blind endurance. It's not about stubbornness that refuses to see a new way. It's about a faith-driven determination that holds onto the promise that there is a breakthrough coming, even when it's invisible to the eye. That promise becomes the fuel. It lights a fire in your heart that no setback can put out. You keep moving not because you have all the answers, but because you believe the answers are coming, and that belief gives you strength beyond your own. It connects you to something bigger than your fears, bigger than your pain, bigger than your doubts. When you start declaring, I am persistent, or I am unstoppable, you're not just speaking words. You're inviting God's power to work through your perseverance. You're aligning yourself with the truth that nothing in your life is wasted, and every delay is a setup for a greater comeback. This is why persistence fueled by faith is not stubbornness, it's strategic obedience. It's choosing to walk the path even when it feels uphill, because you're convinced it is worth every step, and the steps themselves are shaping you into the person you need to become to handle what's waiting at the top. I want to remind you that every great story of success is filled with moments of persistence. Nobody wakes up fully formed at the top. Every champion has a history of setbacks, failures, and times they felt like giving up. But what set them apart was their faith-fueled persistence. They didn't just hope for victory. They believed in it so deeply that they refused to stop working for it. They spoke I am statements over their lives. I am resilient, I am capable, I am victorious, not because they had already arrived, but because they knew where they were going. That kind of mindset doesn't just motivate you, it transforms you. Sometimes the hardest part about persistence is the waiting. Waiting for doors to open, waiting for clarity, waiting for the breakthrough that feels just out of reach. And during those times, faith is your lifeline. Faith is the quiet voice that says, keep going, don't give up now, because the breakthrough might be closer than you think. It might be right around the corner, but if you quit, you'll never know. That's why persistence powered by faith isn't about seeing the whole staircase. It's about taking the next step over and over, trusting that the steps will appear as you walk. You've got to guard your heart in this process because discouragement is real. It will try to convince you to give up, to change direction, to settle for less. But your I am affirmations are the guardrails that keep you steady. When you say, I am strong, I am capable, I am a conqueror, you are pushing back against every lie the enemy throws your way. You're reminding yourself that you have what it takes to finish the race, even when the finish line isn't in sight yet. You're choosing to believe your story is not over, and your best chapters are yet to come. And don't forget, persistence is also an act of worship. It's saying with your life, I trust you, even when I can't see the outcome. It's living your faith in motion, proving that your hope is not just words but actions. When you keep moving forward, even when it hurts, you are showing a kind of faith that inspires others. Your persistence becomes a testimony that encourages someone else who might be ready to quit. Your life becomes evidence that faith in action changes everything. So today, if you're feeling weary or ready to give up, remember this. Persistence is not about how strong you are on your own. It's about how much faith you carry inside you. It's about trusting that God is working behind the scenes even when you can't see it. It's about continuing to speak I am affirmations over your life, knowing that these words are planting seeds of victory in your spirit. And when faith fuels your persistence, there is nothing that can stop you. Keep going, keep believing, keep speaking life over yourself every day. Because persistence fueled by faith doesn't just get you through the hard times. It brings you out stronger, wiser, and ready for the incredible future waiting for you. The race isn't over until you say it is, and your breakthrough is on its way. Keep your faith alive, keep your voice strong, keep your heart open, and keep walking in the confidence that you are unstoppable.